Over the years, our fan base here in the U.S. has grown, not just bigger, but louder, becoming a belting chorus among the rich and powerful.
Propaganda bullhorn.
RT television.
Propaganda machine.
Russian propaganda.
Russian propaganda.
Russian propaganda machine.
Russian propaganda on steroids.
Perhaps part of the reason they love us so much over here is that we never shy away from America's uglier side.
Violence and chaos continue to rage on the streets of the U.S. suburb of Ferguson, where protesters and police are squaring off over the killing of an unarmed black teenager.
The abuse of prisoners in secret CIA-run prisons has been thrown into sharp relief following the release of a report called How America Tortures.
Protests over the death of George Floyd while being detained by Minneapolis police have raged for a third night.
It was revealed that the NSA had been secretly collecting the phone call records of tens of millions of Americans using data provided by AT&T, Verizon, and Bell South.
The International Criminal Court has announced it will move forward with a probe into whether the U.S. committed war crimes in Afghanistan.
Of the top 22 developed countries in the entire world, the United States, we account for 82% of all the gun deaths.
Corporations love Wall Street, which might be why corporate media has not been paying as much attention as we have.
Police brutality running wild in New York. Americans dragged, punched, and pepper sprayed.
Woman on the ground screaming, crying after getting assaulted brutally by police. Disgusting.
It took America's mainstream media a week to catch up with the demonstrations. Protesters say some networks deny them coverage.
When most were unaware of America's silent majority, we had their backs. Those living in coastal and urban areas were blown away when people in Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania turned out in droves to vote for Trump. The surprise election results are seen as proof that the USA is a divided country. Among Americans who say the economy is poor, 79% voted for Trump. And among Americans who say their family's financial system is worse off today, 78% for Trump. It's pretty clear there's a lot of Americans whose voices aren't exactly taking center stage in mainstream media. We decided we'd have a talk with a few of them.
We're working class middle America. That's going away.
Mill mills are gone, and that was our bread and butter around here. In the coal mines in the southern part of West Virginia, they're gone. Those people have nothing.
Further away from Washington, D.C., like here in Wilmington, the buildings had already been crumbling for a long time.
It's not good. We don't have jobs. We need jobs.
Poverty's horrible. You know, business is lost. Like look at Airborne. And
when Airborne closed, thousands of people lost their jobs. So it affected a lot of businesses. I just think that we haven't had a voice for, a long time. So I'm excited about the president.
I feel like we have been forgotten.
We're certainly aware of why the U.S. military-industrial complex might want Americans and the rest of the world to stop watching RT.
The first U.S. airstrike on Libya was actually carried out 25 years ago during the Reagan administration and has since been followed by a number of other U.S.-led military campaigns.
The Pentagon is using some of its newest and most sophisticated weaponry in Afghanistan.
The U.S. also did not support the resolution on Syria put forward by Russia, which would call for all sides in the conflict to stop the violence and to start a dialogue.
The U.S.-led coalition's been moving troops and bombing Syrian territory without any consent from either the UN or the Syrian government.
Somebody else who'd really like to see the back of us, most likely, is the U.S. State Department. They never really seem to appreciate our questions on U.S. foreign policy.
So when you want to evade a question.
No, I'm not attacking you. I'm not attacking you. I'm not attacking you. I would just love to see your institution ask these same kind of questions of your own government. Your government, which is flying aircraft over Aleppo and bombing hospitals.
I am here asking you what I think are fair questions, and I have one more, if you can just...
I'll give you one more.
Attacks, yes. Put attacks aside and just try to respond to questions.
I just am curious.
You are.
And the fallout of that U.S. foreign policy is something we will never stop bringing home.
5 months and counting. That's how long the inmates at the Guantanamo Bay prison have been refusing food to protest in what they call inhumane treatment. Despite international outrage over the situation, the hunger strike is showing no signs of ending. And today, we're taking a close look at why. Strapped to a chair and having nutrients forced down their nose twice a day. And 3 inmates are undergoing similar feeding procedures in hospital. The government says the procedure is done in the most humane way possible and is trying to prevent death by using it.
Whistleblowers. To some, they are traitors. To others, they speak truth to power. We will never stop letting you make up your own mind.
Back then, at the turn of the decade, Assange was a hero. How the pundits cheered his leaks, exposing Bush-era war crimes, exposing the elites, corporations, politicians, how they loved him for it. For his outstanding journalism, their words, he was given honor after honor. Come on, we all know the exact moment these people turned against their former hero.
Edward Snowden has been publicly justifying his security leaks. In a German magazine, he also launched a broadside at Washington's persecution of him and renewed his calls for better global protection for people's rights and privacy.
So sure, we haven't won over everyone here in the United States with our reporting, especially the war makers and the elites. But perhaps that's how it should be. Caleb Maupin, RT, New York.